Morgan, I am so glad that you are here today. Could you please briefly introduce yourself and tell us about your family and your homeschool?
Awesome. Thank you, Amy. I appreciate the opportunity. My name is Morgan Tillman. I will be married. It's coming up on 14 years to my amazing husband, Brandon. We have three girls, and they are 11, 9, and just turned 6. So we are busy family of girls over here. We have been homeschooling now for 5 years, which has been amazing. Love it. Best decision we ever made, hands down. Um, and a lot of people ask, like, what's your homeschooling style? And for me, it's kind of a lot of people here eclectic, but I've recently just kind of got on the internet and started researching, like, everybody can't be eclectic. Let's dive in more about what we do in our home. And the multiple intelligence homeschooling came up, and I was like, this is us, because it really focuses on finding what your children's strengths are and really pushing them in that area, and not so much, and I say not focusing at all, but not as much emphasis on the areas where they struggle. You still do it, you still encourage them, but it really helps to build their confidence knowing that, like, hey, I really like to write. I'm great at grammar. Like, let's go in that direction, which is just my exact household. I have one who excels at all things math and science, and I have another one who excels in all things ELA. So we really just gravitate to those areas, and it's been awesome. So I love homeschooling. We basically got started because I wanted more time with my girls. It has transitioned over the years, of course, with various focuses, but time, the relationships, and just freedom, being able to do what we want to do, learn how we want to based off of us. So that is the intro to the Tillman household.
Love that. And I love the way you're able to focus on their strengths and use that as sort of a jumping off point for the things you're learning. I had a
Yes.
previous guest on, Shauna Wingert from Different by Design Learning. I don't know if you know her, but she talked a lot about the importance of strengths based learning in our homeschools. But I've never heard, say that again, what the multiple intelligences.
Multiple intelligences, yes. And it's like, it's a whole thing. Like, I was researching, I said a couple of weeks ago, and I'm just like shocked. I'm like, this is us. This is exactly what we do. And of course, eclectic comes in there, you choosing curriculum, all the things. But I'm like, I really try to focus on the areas where they excel really great, because I think that's what's going to pull them through, being adults. And that's where they are, especially with my older two. Now, my youngest, we're not quite there yet. She's kindergarten, but my older ones, you can kind of see where your children are kind of gravitating to and just really help them, excel in those areas. So it's been interesting. Check it out.
Well, I love hearing this idea about the strengths and this joy that can come in the homeschool when you focus on those areas. But you and I both know there's a lot of challenges in homeschooling as well. So, what have been some
Yes.
of those challenges you faced, and how are you guys working to overcome them?
One of the things that pops into my mind is distractions. And I can be easily distracted with certain things. We are in our home a lot. Now, we do go out for extracurricular activities, but when you're schooling, a lot of times we do our schooling within our home. So I'm sitting here, Amy, and I'm like, oh, that needs to be fixed, or maybe we should clean that, or, maybe we could do this. And I really have to ground myself. I'm like, focus. So one way that I've overcome that is I schedule it. I really have to be on a schedule to say, this is a project that I want to tackle today that has nothing to do with our homeschool. So I'm going to give this some of my time, 30 minutes today after we finish schooling. And that really helps me to be able to focus. I know it may sound like, how can you not focus on your child's education? But there's things all around us, the planning and being a mom and a wife and all the things. And so that has really helped me to say, okay, once we're done with school, you have 30 minutes, you can go and work on this project. And it really brings me joy because naturally I like things organized and I like to clean. So it just falls right in line with what I do, and I love fixing things. So that's been a really huge help. We also have distractions of people in our lives, because I think sometimes people think, oh, you homeschool, you're at home. Let's just pop up and see what you're doing. And so setting boundaries, which a lot of people, they've been really receptive to that, but setting those boundaries to minimize the distractions so that we can really focus on the flow of our homeschool day. I would say at the moment, that is one thing that pops up as like the biggest thing, is just the random distractions that go on in my head as we're going throughout our day. I could definitely come up with a lot more because, as you know, this journey is not easy at all. But I think when we're able to really recognize some of the struggles and really actively come up with ways to work on them, it just makes it that much better.
And what I hear is this kind of common denominator between both the distractions of people and the projects is you are fighting them with purposefulness. You're being
Yes,
purposeful to plan the time to see the people, to plan the
yes,
time to do the projects. See,
absolutely.
sometimes if we just sort of go with the flow too much, we're so scattered.
Hmm.
Instead, we can kind of build in those boundaries for ourselves. And there's real freedom within some boundaries.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you. Definitely, I am not a everyday go with the flow because it's all over the place. And that flow looks like, oh, you didn't really get much done today.
Yeah, my flow might turn like into a landslide.
Yes,
Going crazy.
absolutely.
Well,
So,
Morgan,
yeah.
what are you most looking forward to about the Made to Homeschool community?
Amy, I'm sure you're going to hear this over and over again, but you just said the word community. Like, I did description of it the other day, and I'm like, when you can just connect with someone, and that's like that best friend that you have, and you can talk to that person, and they just get it. And I think one of the biggest things that is missing within the homeschool community is a place where you can go and really talk with people and get just a different environment and vibe than what you would get on, say, YouTube or Instagram, Facebook groups. Made to Homeschool is going to provide that opportunity. There will be someone in that community for everyone. And the fact that there are so many amazing contributors there who are willing to be that connection point for so many others, it just really makes me excited about it. Like, we're talking all of the resources and workshops and all the things. I'm super excited about that because that's been something that I've always desired within our homeschool. And you have to actively seek out to build those relationships. And I know that this is going to help form some amazing relationships with people, even just in their local area. Like, everyone may not be in your state, but we're going to find a way to make them connected with people where they live. So, community is a big thing. I don't think you can be in the homeschool arena and not have some form of a community and support. It is imperative.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited about it too. Every time I'm
Yes.
talking to another lady on this episode, I just get more and more excited.
Like, communities everywhere. So yeah, I'm excited about that. Just being able to chat. Like, you can like message somebody and say, "Hey, how's your day going? Like, what's going on?" Encouragement and get that. Like, I'm excited to get those things as well. I love it. So
Oh, yes, definitely. Well, Morgan, even though these are little micro episodes, I'm still asking each of you the questions I love to ask all of my guests. And the first is just, what are you personally reading lately?
okay, so my husband and I are currently reading a book called Married for Life, and it is inspirations from couples who have been married for over 50 years, which I think is amazing. There's definitely tons of nuggets to gain from that, learning and reading what they have said. And so it's just something that we enjoy doing with each other whenever he's home from work. We'll catch a page in there, read, talk about it, that type of thing. So that's where I'm reading personally. But, outside of that, we're doing read alouds, which is awesome. I get to experience that with my girls, and I get a little jealous when they get to read books that I don't get to read. So I really insert myself into their read aloud. So that's where my reading is at the moment.
Oh, that's fabulous. I'm going to have to check that marriage title out. It's always an
Yes.
encouragement to hear from people who have stayed the course and persevered and
Yes.
can share the way God preserved them through their
Absolutely.
marriages. Yeah.
Yes. I love it. So,
Well,
yeah,
the final question is, what would be your best tip for helping the homeschool day run more smoothly?
get in a rhythm. Get that rhythm and stay in it. And whatever that rhythm looks like for your household. I don't subscribe to timestamps just because I feel like it adds an additional stressor within our household. But we have a rhythm, and my girls even know, like, oh, I've been doing this a little long, or we're a little out of sync. Even with their waking in the morning, it's just a rhythm. Like, I really don't have to wake my girls. They are accustomed to waking up at a specific time. Their body just knows. And so that rhythm is something that we've created that really works for us. And so find your rhythm. That would be my biggest advice. And of course, anytime we're looking to do anything, God first. And I pray about our rhythm every day. when I wake, Lord, let this plan be according to your will. Because at the end of the day, He has control over everything that we're doing. And when we step into it thinking, I got this, that's when the problems arise. So I'm always like, lead me so that I can lead my girls according to His will. And that rhythm is something that He has provided for us over and over and over again.
Such wonderful tips, especially the reminder to pray, not just to set up the
Yes,
routine and the rhythm and think it'll just run on its own. It's got to be
exactly.
fueled by the Lord's grace for sure.
Absolutely. Yes. So
Morgan, where can people find you all around the internet?
I am at Life of Tillman's on YouTube and also Life of Tillman's underscore homeschool on Instagram. So those are my places where I frequent. So I would love for you guys to come and check me out, say hi, visit with me, all the things.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Morgan.
Thank you, Amy. I appreciate it.